Hello, welcome back. This is the part 3 of the terminal commands. If you haven't watched the part 1 and 2 earlier, I recommend you to do so. In this video, we will be mainly going through some of the filter commands as well as some other commands. Let's get started. The first command that we are going to learn today is the disk uses command. You can type du, that is for disk uses. And let's say that I want to run the disk uses command for this folder. And if I run enter, it shows that how many disk space has it taken. This is how the disk uses command works. Now the next command is, let's say that you want to know what is currently running in your system. For that, you can use ps command. If you say ps, gives the currently running programs. PID, it means that it is process ID. And TTY means that is associated with this program. Here it says PTS/0. The time means the amount of CPU time that is used by the program, as well as CMD means which command it is executing. For example, this is the process running through the PS that we ran just here. If you want to know more detailed information about this, as usual, you can use the man PS command. Now let's go to the next command, which is top command. The top command will show us the real-time resource uses. Let's say that we type top, then you see here there is altogether 10 different processes. 1 is running and 9 is sleeping state, 0 is stopped. And you see that this is constantly updating. It means that this is the real time. The next command, let's see how much of the disk space is remaining or available in your system. You can type df, enter. It will show you all the information related to this. But it's really difficult for us to see, okay, how much is remaining here, how much is available here, something like that. For that, there is the human readable format, that is df, and then you can type dash and h. It's easier to remember. Dash h is the human readable format. Then you can type enter. It will show you in a human readable format. For example, this 15044 means that is a 15 GB is used and there is 15 GB is available and so on. The next command that we are going to learn is the sort command. As the name suggests, sort means it sorts in the alphabetical order of the file contents. For example, if there is number and letters, first it will sort by numbers and then with letters. Let's go and see. Let's first create a file. Let's use nano test1.txt and let's write here 1abc. Let's write 4efg and let's write tabc. Let's also give pxyz. We have written random text here. Now let's first see what we have just written, right? We can write cat and then it is test1.txt, right? Here we see that 1, 4, T and P. This is 1, this is 4, this is what we just wrote in the file. Now let's use the sort command. Sort test, when you run this, you see that 1, it prints 1 and 4 because 1 is smaller than 4. It first prints 1 and then 4, right? And then it goes to the alphabetical order. Here we have T and then P originally. But now if you see, it sorts into the alphabetical order. The P appears before T. The next command we are going to learn today is grep. It's grep. grep. It stands for Global Regular Expression Print. What it does is it finds something from the file. Let's say that we have written something on the file. It outputs that particular line. Let's see what we have in the test.txt, for example. Okay, here we have line 1, line 2, and all these things, and there is example test. Let's see that we want to know if the example is present in the test.txt. Here we already know that it's there, but if you have a large file and if you want to search some keywords, this is really handy one. And let's say that we give grep command and the keyword that we want to search. we want to source for example from the file, right? From the text.txt. It says no file or directory. I think okay, it is test.txt. So you can press the up arrow and then we can say test.txt. You see that it finds that there is example in that file. It prints that line. Grep can also be used to find the same keyword in multiple files. Let's say that we also put the example in the test1.txt. Let's go nano test1.txt and let's write something after here. We provide example. If we run the same command again without, okay, let's say test.txt, and also we provide the file test1.txt, and you see that it first goes through one file and it finds, okay, there is example, and then it again goes to the next file and it says that, okay, there is also the keyword example present in that file. Grep is really powerful terminal command. If you want to know more, you can again do the same thing, go to man and grep and utilize the one that is best suitable for your use case. And let's say that you use grep to see if the keyword is present or not. And another good part is also that you want to know which line in the file is that keyword present. What you can do is the same thing of the file, let's say grep, and then you can provide the number grep-n, and then you want to find example. Then let's say that you want to find from test.txt. It shows that line number in front of the keyword. It says that there is example keyword present in that file and it is present on the line 13. Now let's talk about more and less command. As we have seen in the earlier, if we want to display something on the terminal itself, we say ls in the terminal, and what is the output of some files. If the file is small, then cat is really helpful. For example, if we can type cat and let's say test1.txt, then there are only 5 lines. This is visible in the window just below the cat command, right? But what if the page has hundreds of lines? It cannot display in the terminal itself, right? How can we achieve that? We have the more and less command. I don't have big files in the folder now, but there is this Titanic dataset.csv file. Let's say that we want to read this file in the terminal itself, just for the sake of demonstrating how the more and less terminal command works. Let's say that we want more and we pass the Titanic dataset.csv and you type enter. You see that it displays the first page of the file, as we can see here, and it says here there is more file to display down. If you type enter, it will go down, or you can even type space. With the space, it will go more, one page at a time. You see, it goes 3, 4, it displays the output. This is how the more command works. But let's say that I already went 6%. How can I go up? You cannot use the up or down arrow to go up or down. This is the disadvantage of more command. You can go more into the file, but you cannot go up, which is already being displayed. That is when the less command comes into place. Let's go out from here. If you type q, it goes out. Instead of more, let's type less. If we type less, now you see it didn't give us here the more or less keyword, but it's giving us the name of the file. And you can type space to go down, or you can type enter to go down. How much faster, less you want to go, or you can even type the down arrow to go down. But let's say that you want to view what is already being displayed. You can just click the up arrow in the keyboard and it will go already being displayed part. This was not possible with the more command. I'm typing the up arrow and it's going all the way to the top. of the file. That's the difference. I think instead of more, less can be more useful in many scenarios. But this is only good if you have large files. But for the small files, cat command is better. Always remember, if you have short files, then you can go with the cat command. If you have more files and you need to go back and forth into the file in the terminal, use the less command. And if you don't have to go back, which is already being displayed, then you can go with the more command. And one thing you need to notice is that I'm just showing you the basic uses of the commands. If you want to know more, because this is just the most known Linux commands in the basic terms, but if you want to go more in depth, please refer the documentation or the manual, and you can use the man less or man more command to see the extensive uses of the commands. Another handy command is WC. You can use the WC, which stands for word count. We can say WC word count, and we can pass test.txt. It will show you the number of lines, number of words, and number of characters in that file. It says the number of lines are 15, number of words are also 15, and number of characters are 94 in this file. Now let's go with the last command in this video, that is uniq command. So that is uniq, uniq command, which shows the unique keyword in the file. Let's look what we have inside the test.txt again. We can say cat test.txt. We have all these things in the file, and they are all unique, right? Line 1, line 2, example, test, Linux, they are all unique in the file. Now let's add more keyword in the same file. What we can do is nano, and we can say test.txt. And let's go to the last line, and here let's add example test, and let's say we add line 6, just for the sake of explaining you what the command does. And then we can exit from here. Now we have written something in the file, right? Let's view it first. Test.txt. Now we have example in 2 places, test in 2 places, line 6 in 2 places. How the uniq command works is it just gives, if there are some duplicates, then it does not that. Let's go and see how it shows. Let's say that uniq, and let's give the name of the file. But here you see that it also shows the duplicates. If you see here, it shows example, and here is also example. But I just explained you that it will not show the duplicates, right? Yes, it will not show the duplicates, but it has to be adjacent, meaning that it has to be one after the another. Let's say that again I want to go to nano and test.txt, and on line 1 or after line 1 I will add line 1. That is same duplicates adjacent to each other. Let's save this. If we run uniq test.txt, now you see that there is only one line 1. But if we see on the main file, there is 2 line 1. This is how the uniq commands work. It has to be adjacent to each other. But then you may argue that why it is necessary if we can't remove the duplicates, right? But the good part that you can do is you can first sort the contents of the file, and then you can run the uniq. Now let's first do the sorting and then use the uniq command. For that, what we can do is first we can sort the file test.txt, and then we can pass the pipe command, and then we can pass the uniq. What it does is first it will sort this file, and then on the output of that sorted file, it will go and see what are the unique elements into that. If we run this command, now you see that it first sorted the file. That's why the example came on top. And line 1, there were 2 line 1s, now there is only 1. There were 2 example keywords, there is only one. There is to test, there is only one. This is how you can group two commands together. So yeah, this is all what I had for this video. I hope you find this video helpful. If you find it helpful, please give a thumbs up in the video. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.